I saw a lot of people who try to forget graffiti background because we want to be more contemporary, but I don't want to forget my childhood. We need documentation because people with no graffiti or urban background need to understand.
Moin und herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Folge Back to Tape Unseen. Wenn ihr den Film Back to Tape bisher noch nicht gesehen habt, könnt ihr das jetzt machen. Hier ist der Link dazu. Schreibt in die Kommentare, was ihr über das Projekt denkt. Ich freue mich sehr auf euer Feedback. Aber heute wollen wir euch wieder unveröffentlichtes Interviewmaterial zeigen. Unsere Reise geht nach Paris und der Gast ist Nicolas Couturier. Ein Name, der euch vielleicht zuerst nichts sagt. Aber er ist tief verwurzelt in der Graffiti-Szene. Er ist Kurator, Herausgeber und Produzent und arbeitet seit 2013 mit verschiedensten Künstlern auf internationalen Ausstellungen. Es ist ihm dabei immer wichtig, Graffiti-Künstlern Raum für ihre Kunst zu geben. In Paris habe ich mich mit ihm getroffen und über seine eigene Graffiti-Geschichte gesprochen und darüber, wie es ist, mit Graffiti Geld zu verdienen.
The paper is like this, but they want to crush it
Yeah,
because it's better for the colors.
yeah.
But normally, when you print, we don't have this stone, and we have something like this. Here you put the ink. Right, you see the paper because you have air inside the paper, and like this, the paper is very flat.
Ah, okay.
You have to do it before to print something on the paper. Otherwise, when you put the ink, you have air, and the ink moves, and it's not clean.
Is this a tough way to bring graffiti to galleries?
It's not really difficult actually because the artists want to do it.
Yeah.
Because after 10 years in the street, you become older and sometimes say, okay, let's do another thing. It's just evolution, you
Yeah.
know. So no, it's not tough and it's very pleasant because all the artists with time change the style and now it's totally different than graffiti. Because actually I don't like graffiti on canvas. I like when an artist changes style, work, and is what I do. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't want to do graffiti on paper or graffiti on canvas because for me graffiti is in the streets, you know. So is how I choose my artists. I want artists who are better after.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, you got it. I met Dime, a legend, graffiti legend from Hamburg, and he told me that you are a guy he's working with together, and you brought him here
Yeah, sure.
to galleries here in France. Is this the type of guy you need to make your job even better?
When I was 15 years old, I think I began graffiti because of him.
Oh, really?
You know, I think we are a lot of like this because it was a legend in France too, you know. And for me, it was such a pleasure because I sent an email to them and say, oh, I would like to work with you. Say, okay, why not? Because he's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
So I take my flight, I went to Hamburg, I meet him and I explain my ID. And at the end of the meeting, he said, oh, you know what? If you want, we can do my 30th anniversary together. So it was a nice surprise for me.
Yeah.
It was very cool. And yes, it's very important to show this kind of guy because, like you said, it's a legend. And there are a lot of street artists. And unfortunately, a lot of shit too. And for me, it's my... it's an obligation. It's not my work because you know graffiti is my life, art is my life. So for me, it was an obligation to see his work. It's impossible to forget Mirko.
You started as a graffiti artist, right?
Yeah, I started 22 years ago
Yeah. Can
in
you tell
Lyon.
me the story? Yeah, in Lyon.
Yeah, I was in Lyon. I built my own graffiti crew. The name is NLK, Nightlife Kings. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. And it was my life. During 5 years, I only think about graffiti. You know? And after I moved to Toulouse, and I began to work in music industry. So I did electronic music, mainstream electronic music.
Yeah.
And one of my friends from Funky Family, Pon.
It's a great rap crew from France,
Maybe one of the greatest, yeah, I think. And Paul told me, "Oh, Nicolas, you're an art lover. Why you don't try to do some stuff in urban art scene?" I said, "Okay, why not?" And he introduced me to Tilt, and I begin to speak with Tilt, and he's like this. I said, "Oh, okay, let's do something in urban art stuff." And when I speak with Tilt, Tilt told me, "You know, Nicolas, there is something we missed at this industry. We are famous, we are still young, but we don't do quality stuff." And we spoke, and at the end we decided to do a printing house. Not really a printing house, it's an edition house.
Yeah.
And we arrive here and we begin to do lithograph. I'm 37 years old. I was raised with Cypress Hill, NetDog, all those stuff. I don't want to do another kind of art.
Yeah.
It's me, you know. I saw a lot of people who try to forget graffiti background because we want to be more contemporary. But I don't want to forget my childhood, you know. So for me, it's natural, you know. It's in my blood.
Yeah.
It's my blood.
How business partners react when you started to bring graffiti into galleries?
Actually, I work alone, so I don't have business partner. But
gallery partners.
yeah, but if you some gallery are hermetic, you know, they don't want to have urban artists. But some of the big gallery like Perrotin, he work with Cause, Daniel Arsham. This guy understand. I think it's reality now. It's urban art. I can give you an example. Rose Béton Biennale opened in Toulouse a month ago. At the opening, 3,000 people came. Few months ago, they opened an exhibition with Pablo Picasso, great artist. Only 1,500 people came. So people who want urban thing because things change. So we can do a parallel between urban art and hip-hop, I think.
Yeah.
But it was easier for hip-hop because hip-hop had a radio station. In France, it was Skyrock. But we don't have our own museum. So it's impossible to me to say, okay, let's do Invader, let's do Craig Costello, let's do Harris, Tilt. I have to wait this museum. So I think it's because of this we don't have big urban art show yet. But they need money, they need entrance. So at one moment they will need to do Banksy, to do Ogemeos or Invader. It's just a question of time.
But you see the problem that maybe some graffiti artists have a problem with bringing graffiti into galleries? And is it the discussions about it?
Yeah, I see what you want to say. Actually, it's like I saw the same, like music. You have very good band who doesn't have a nice label.
Yeah.
It's you with your luck.
Yeah.
I try to help, but I can't help everybody. So I work with artists I admire. I work with artists I know, and that's it for the moment. But maybe one day we'll be able to help more people. But like I told you, that's very important. I really think graffiti has to be in the street. You know? I can show you some example of my lithograph. For example, Craig Costello, Crink, you know, Crink,
Yeah.
the guy who has the biggest brand for markers. When you see his work, it's not graffiti anymore because he become older, he think, and now his work is totally different than his KR. You know, I don't know if you remember his stuff in the street of New York.
Yeah.
He moved. You know. I need that. I don't want to be the guy I was 25 years ago. I really think graffiti is a new movement.
Yeah.
So sure, we have to take pics, we have to do catalog. For that's also an important thing. I do a catalog for each show I do. We need documentation, because people with no graffiti or urban background need to understand our stuff. So I write a lot. I do books because I believe in 50 years or a century, people will read it to understand why, This one is not a good one, you see behind. That is an artist, is Tania Moreau. Tania is 78 years old. She also had his retrospective at Centre Pompidou. She's a big French artist. So we did this lithograph for Morocco, for a foundation. It's a one-color lithograph, black, on white paper. The paper is 100% cotton. I can show you when you do like this. You can see the paper, the quality of paper is. You can touch it.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, cool.
So yeah, it's not a good one. It's for that.
Yeah, okay.
So I did this lithograph on this machine, for example.
And you did it?
Yeah. It's not me. It's the team.
Yeah.
But I work with Tania Moreau, and we used to do a print here.
Why is lithograph so important for you? Why?
Because it's a patrimonial, it's a very high quality. You can put your lithograph on a wall with a light. The color will not move. So you can give your lithograph to your son, to what you want. This lithograph will be here after us.
Yeah.
And for me, it's important because it's history too. It's like a book. And like I told you, when you're from the graffiti, you don't used to think like this because things move.
Yeah.
But with lithograph, with books, you can write the story. I don't know what is it, but I think it was for wine. You see? But those stones are, 200 years old. He's from Germany, actually.
Yeah.
It's where we found the lithograph stone in Germany.
Oh, really?
Yep. It's the only country you can find good stone now.
Do you think that graffiti artists are even a little more creative than other artists? Or is there something that's special about them?
I think it was more difficult for graffiti artists because they have to prove to other people they are able to do things.
Yeah.
Because it's like hip-hop, same. People doesn't look at those artists gently. Say, oh, it's a guy from the street. It's not art. So there are more work, to do than another artist. But at the end, it works very well. I will show you another lithograph. Yeah. I wanted to show you this one. That's Craig Costello. No, here you can. Sorry, up. Yeah. You can feel the graffiti background.
Yeah.
But like I told you, he's not graffiti anymore.
Yeah.
But Craig Costello, it's a guy who has Krink. But when I showed this lithograph to someone, you can think it's a graffiti writers, But when you are from graffiti, you can say, oh, maybe use an extinguisher, because actually you use an extinguisher to do it. So exactly the kind of work I like. this kind of work. So to reply again to the question, is more difficult for graffiti artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have to prove they are able to be an artist. It's stupid, but it's like this.
Do you have any goals you want to achieve with your work?
Sure. I want to do a big show at Centre Pompidou. I don't want to see Jeff Koons. I want to see Invader. I want to see Auger Meos, Banksy, Harris, Craig Costello. I want to see my guys.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. It's like, that's my goals. I want to show. I don't want to show to the public. I want to show to museum people. Oh, guys, look, they are great artists too. And to prove it, I will need more time. I know it, but at the end, you will see in 10, 20 years, I'm sure Invader will have his retrospective at Centre Pompidou.
Or maybe the new Invader.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know him yet, but
I say Invader because in Paris he's big and it's a real guy. He's from the start. I think he's beginning in 1988, something like this.
I'm just making jokes because it could be that there's now a graffiti artist starting right now. We don't know him yet, and he could be the one who breaks through the gallery thing.
Maybe.
Or maybe all the others and making the big things.
Maybe my youngest artist is Harris. He's 31, and he's very famous. So maybe I will have an artist in, I don't know, in 20 years who was 20 years old. I hope it will mean it's a real movement.
Yeah, really.
You know?
Das war sie also, die 4. Folge von Back to Tape Unseen. Ich hoffe, ihr hattet viel Spaß und habt ein bisschen was über Nicolas Couturier und seine Arbeit gelernt. Jetzt seid ihr dran, sagt uns, was denkt ihr darüber? Ist Graffiti in Galerien richtig angesiedelt und ist es richtig, damit Geld zu verdienen? Oder verrät man damit einen Teil der Kunst? Schreibt es in die Kommentare und dann sehen wir uns beim nächsten Mal wieder bei einer neuen Folge von Back to Tape Unseen. Bis dann.